Hello and welcome to the Creatively Geeky Show, episode number 7. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight I'm joined by a giggling band of friends and creators. We've got Jennifer, Ray, and Sean. How are y'all doing?
Hey.
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 We don't even know why I'm laughing.
I think we are all tired. The COVID is just it's just draining our energy at this point. So maybe a little punch drunk tonight. So we'll see how things go. With that said, how has everyone been?
Crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. So, yeah, I've definitely had some ups and downs over the last couple of weeks. So, but I'm not going to go into that. We're gonna focus on interesting stuff tonight. So, I guess with that said, let's go ahead and roll into our updates from last time. So, Ray, you're always at the top of my list. Do you want to go first, or?
Sure, man.
Okay. I had written down half of a large painting and working on Quinn shelves. So, what's going on with that stuff?
Well, Quinn shelves are done and they're up.
Good deal.
That's been done. I got sidetracked with the whole painting thing. I have it prepared. I have one prepared for watercolor. So it's a 5 foot by 4 foot canvas, which took quite a bit more prepping than I was expecting. So anyway, that's done. Yeah. Yeah, I'll show it to you afterwards.
Okay.
It's like the big one that you had at your house when I was there, right? Like that big, huge.
No, that was
bigger.
No, it's big. Yeah. So this is 5 foot by 4 foot. So, and I also did a cutout to prepare for doing a painting on that one. There's going to be a silhouette that I needed to transfer on there, and so I've found that I can talk about that afterwards. But yeah, I'm gonna start actually working on that this week. So my plan is to have one of those finished by the end of. I guess we can talk about that later too. But yeah, one of those is going to be finished by the end of this week.
Okay.
And plans for the other one. So.
Well, good deal. Okay, so I had listed work on my proton pack and work on the Fusion 360 course that I was going to work on. I have not touched my proton pack. I guess at the top I kind of talked about, I mentioned I was going to stay positive, but just go ahead and bring it out there. So I have had, since we've last talked on this show, I have attended 2 funerals. One of them for my partner, his father passed away. And the other one was for my grandmother, who passed away of COVID-related illness. So I just have not felt up to things. And in fact, yesterday I stayed home from work because my body was literally just telling me you need a fucking break. So I listened, stayed home, and I have not gotten around to messing around with my proton pack like I was going to do. And that's just as a quick reminder, that was adding a second battery so that I could run some more stuff off of it. I have only done like maybe 1 or 2 of the beginning courses for the Fusion 360 class. So I can say, yeah, I've technically kind of started that. I've actually gotten sidetracked with 2 other things, which I guess we'll go ahead and talk about real quick. So the first one is the mask that I wear that I purchased. It's a dusk mask. Because when I bought it, I was like, well, even if this COVID thing doesn't last that long, it's a good mask to have for like painting and sanding and stuff like that. And so I've been wearing this mask. And the problem that I ran into, and I just realized this last week or so, is it actually has these 2 very small vents. And I can actually show you on the side, it had these 2 kind of button things. And this kind of clear plastic, you have to really blow on it for it to open up to be a vent. Which is why I didn't worry about it, because you'd have to I'd have to sit there and like really blow into the mask as much as I could to get it to vent. But my doctor pointed out,
Did you have to blow on it?
Yes, I had to blow on it.
Really hard, eh?
Really hard.
Yeah.
My doctor pointed out, he said, some places are starting to ban those. He's like, so be careful. I'm like, yeah, I was thinking about like taking super glue and sealing it. And he's like, that's probably not a bad idea. He said, just be careful, because there's going to be some asshole out there that's going to be like, well, are you sure that you have it sealed, blah blah blah. So I thought, well, maybe I should just print something different for it. And that's what got my creative juices going. And I thought, okay, cool, I can do something really awesome. So I can do a button on it. And so like the first one I did was this Autobot logo. So if you're watching the video, you can see I have an Autobot logo. The really cool thing about this is I was originally trying to replicate the way that this goes together. So this button that goes on the outside, it has like a little twisty part that holds it together. And it's literally just like these two bars that fit in here, and it does like a, quarter twist to keep it in there. And trying to figure out how I could replicate that I was like, man, this is going to be a lot of work. I'm going to have to really model this. And I got to thinking, I was like, if this just like screwed in, this would be so much easier. And I learned a new technique in Fusion 360. So even though I didn't learn it in the class, I taught it to myself anyway, to where I can actually now 3D print. Let's see if I can have it. Yeah, there it is. It's going to be really hard to see, but there's actually threads on this, and then on the inside of the buttons, so that it literally just screws together. And I'm just like, oh my God, I've just leveled up my abilities, because I've even gone back to thinking about some of the other things that I've modeled where I'm just like, well, I'll just make the plastic a certain size, and when you take a screw and put it in there, it'll just kind of like bite into the plastic. And I'm like, I could actually go back and add actual fitting threads for this now. Like, that is exciting from an engineer standpoint. Well, anyway, so I had the Autobot one, and I have gone, I still have a ton of them I want to make. I'm just kind of showing some of them off the video. I've done a Decepticon logo. I've done like the Cobra logo from G.I. Joe. I've done a Ghostbusters logo. And I mean, they've turned out pretty decent. So now I'm just like kind of switching them on my mask almost every single day, which is kind of fun. So even though
still waiting for that A and B button, by the way.
That is on the to-do list. That's actually already been modeled. I just have to get it printed now. So, so that's a side project that I've been working on, and I was like, well, I taught myself new with 360, so I guess it kind of counts. And then
you
I
taught yourself the screw.
Yes, I did. And the other thing that I've started, and I haven't actually started this. Oh, I kind of started this. I'm part of several different Ghostbuster prop making forums on Facebook, and this guy posted where he had a PCB board, basically the board like you would solder pieces onto, and he's like, well, I finally got these ones that I ordered. He said finally, but he's like, I got the ones that I ordered in, the custom ones that I had made, and of course myself and some other people started asking questions. I had heard about this, and I had kind of looked into it, but I was like, man, this is expensive. He's like, well, it's like you have to buy 5. They're like $2 a piece. Shipping's like $15. And I'm like, that is totally affordable. So instead of having to, self solder and run all these little wires and everything else on these boards to build some of the props that I'm making, I could literally design one of these boards. The problem is to get it done, I have to have a certain type of file. And to make the certain type of file, I have to use a certain type of program. So I'm actually about to start teaching myself this course on how to design circuit boards so I can specifically print this. And it is a little daunting, but on the other hand, I'm also kind of excited about it, because I'm like, I hope I have this excitement as I go through the course that I bought to do this. And I'm not just like, what have I got myself into? But, I'm learning something completely new that I'm going to be able to apply, and I think it's really going to help me down the road. So kind of excited about that. So that's why I wouldn't say I've necessarily done everything I said I was going to do, but the things that I've been doing in lieu of, I think are actually much better, much more interesting projects. So let's see here. Chris had Logan's nightstand and curtains. Any idea where she is with that on, Ray?
Let's just update next month.
Gotcha. Jennifer, you had make some music.
I did get my guitar out of the box, and I played it for, I want to say like 3 or 4 days in a row. I logged on to Fender. I had purchased like Black Friday. I purchased their access to their lessons, and I watched it for like 3 or 4 days, and then I promptly got busy with other things. So I tried. I did okay. Like I learned a few chords and I realized my hands are way too small for a guitar because they're apparently made for giants and I have tiny hands. So
You
but
just
it
have
was
to grow your
fun and
guitar.
I need to yeah, I mean maybe they make women's sized guitars, I don't know, but it was fun and I'm gonna, pick it up again. It actually inspired me to get my oboe out and play that a little bit. So that was interesting because I do not have good reeds for it. So it's been rough.
Does it still sound like you're killing some kind of a waterfowl?
Yeah, it sounds like a duck no matter what, but if I had good reeds, it might sound less strangly.
Less strangly.
I had a tuner out I had my tuner out and I was trying really hard to match it using my embouchure and it was just like not working great. But I made some adjustments to the instrument and it did okay.
That's good.
So considering I've had it for like almost 20 years, and it's never been tuned up.
Wow.
I should probably get that looked into.
Sean, I don't have anything because you weren't on the last show. So what have you been up to?
I've been working on my ass divot in my recliner. I've almost got it perfect.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
it is a piece of art.
It is. I should like take a picture and put it up on a wall. So
Photocopy
I'm still working on that herniated disc in my neck. So I've been off work for the last 2.5 months.
Slacker.
Even to do like writing and stuff like that, like just this past week, I tried transferring over my in-laws' emails from like their Rogers account to a Hotmail account because they're closing their Rogers stuff. And after about 45 minutes, my arm just was on fire because the herniated disc is pushing it on 2 nerves, and just keeping my head in that position to work on the computer just set it right off. So
Damn.
It really sucks. I can't do really any kind of work, like even computer work and sitting at the screen and stuff like that. I'm like creating an ass divot in my friggin' recliner because even to like watch TV and all that, I have to get in the recliner to bring my back low enough that I put my head down and relieve the pressure on my neck. So it's the first month was a lot of pain, but every time I think I'm ready to go back to work, the physiotherapist will like tell me to, oh, well, try this. And then all of a sudden I'm in pain again. I'm like, crying out loud. So yeah, creatively hasn't been going well. I'll get there. It's really been painful this summer because all my projects, the building projects, all on hold. My father-in-law has come up and given me a hand with a bit of drywalling, which has been great. Just I need to get one more, or he needs to get one more sand on it, and my wife will paint the back room. But I've got this whole upper part of the carriage house that I want to work on because that's going to be my man cave. But really, I can't do it. Like even to sit down at the computer and like draw up plans, I can't do it. So
that sucks, man. I'm
I
sorry
would
about
recommend
that.
I'll just do it for you, whether you like it or not, and then it'll be my man cave.
Well, then the other problem with me, like sitting this long and not being able to do anything, is like my plans keep changing. They're like in my head, and then I'm like, oh wait, well maybe I'll do it this theme, or maybe I'll do it that way, and like, so that's why it's nice getting something on paper, and then you can work towards it. A little less creative creep.
Man, I'm like I said, I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
Yeah.
So closest I've had.
I think I'm gonna have full recovery, which is great.
That's good.
But it's like when it first happened, it was like, yeah, this will be months. And I'm like, nah.
So the PT is just taking a lot longer or it hurts. So it's taking longer to do it.
It's not taking long. I'm like right on track. I'm just going nuts. And then the company that we work for is all about like getting you back to work under accommodations. They want you to be able to, and they'll accommodate you anyway, which is all great and good. But like they're like really trying to accommodate me, and I'm like, yeah, I can't even work at a computer at home for 45 minutes. And so you can accommodate me all you want, but there's not a whole lot I can do. So
yeah, we can't fit a recliner out where you work, buddy. I've looked into it. I've done the measurements.
I could be a doorstop or a greeter. That's... No, well.
Man. Yeah, so I see what because you were talking about, you're like, I don't know what I can contribute to tonight's show. So, but I could definitely see that, man. That sucks. Like I said, the closest thing I've ever had to that was I had surgery on. I had it wasn't a shin splint. It was basically just a chipped piece of bone that was in my left ankle, and it destroyed most of the cartilage in there. So like I can't really point my toe with that foot. But yeah, I was out for months, like not being able to put any weight on it. So it's just like, yeah, I could at least sit there and do things like with my hands and stuff. But it's like, okay, I think I might need to go to the bathroom in an hour. So I better start working towards it. Like that having some kind of an impairment like that, just especially when you're used to being able to just do anything, just man, it's tough.
Well, my worst bit is like I've gone days and days when I feel great. I feel fine. No pain in my arm or something like that. And that's when I'll go to the dump or something like that. And like, no.
You'll take a dump? What?
I haven't had that problem yet. But no, because we take all our garbage to the dump kind of thing rather than put it out at the curb.
They don't have curbside pickup in Canada.
Yeah, we do. I just it makes me feel like a man. But feel like a man. But
be a man.
But yeah, just I'll try doing something that I really shouldn't because I feel good and just wake up call.
Oh man. Well, tonight's topic, we were going to talk about. I framed it as tools that have changed our lives, but it can be just a favorite tool you have, something that maybe has kind of changed the way that you work, whether it be creatively or whatever. So, with that said, would anyone like to go first?
I have one.
All right, Jen. What is a tool that has changed your life? Something that you really like as a tool?
I'm going to say audiobooks and podcasts, which our book club show, Marginally Geeky, really introduced me to the audiobooks because I never really listened to them before that. Because they allow me, both of those mediums allow me to learn and get inspired and do multiple things at one time. So I'm not just sitting there reading a book. I'm driving and listening, or I'm doing housework and listening. And for someone that's as time strapped as I am, that's important. So I'm learning and I'm getting inspired to be creative, or I'm, just enjoying myself. And that, to me, that's an outlet for creativity, just the audio. Like, it never occurred to me before that I could just listen to things. I always had to watch them. And I was like, no, I can do other things. So
that is, I never would have thought of it that way, but that is a fantastic tool. Like, and I completely agree with you. Like, I read at least close to 20, 24 books a year. Before I started listening to audiobooks, I didn't read. Like, it was just like, I don't have time.
I think it's higher than that for you because you listen like nonstop at work.
Well, okay, but I listen to at least 24 books throughout the year. So new books every year. I mean, I go back and re-listen to several things.
You re-listen to a lot. So.
But yeah, it's like that's a fantastic. Like I said, I wouldn't have thought of it that way. But you're right. That is an absolutely fantastic tool.
Yeah, but if you're someone who's like, I want to read more, or I want to just learn more about something, I highly suggest audio mediums because especially if you're time strapped, if you have a commute, or if you're just like, I drive 10 minutes to and from work, I'll just listen to something for a little bit. Or if I have, housework to do, like I said, whatever, it's just a cool gardening, whatever. Yeah, that's one of mine.
Great tool. Ray, what's a tool that's changed your life?
I have to start with this one because it's changed everything I do, and that's YouTube. Absolutely, I can go on and find how to do whatever I want, whether it's a specific car, like changing the brakes for the first time on a specific car. I know the general idea, but if you look up that specific model, somebody will have tips and tricks for you.
Yep.
If you're looking to do a painting, you can go follow a Bob Ross. If you like, whatever you want to do, there is a how-to on YouTube to do it. A couple of my favorite right now are the Essential Craftsman. He discusses different woodworking tools, different woodworking techniques and stuff. James Gurney is an artist. He works with it's called gouache. It's like a watercolor, or it's like watercolor, but it's got an actual pigment to it where it's more solid. The Mind of Watercolor is another guy that I absolutely love as well. He does a lot of watercolor paintings, and he discusses how to do different techniques and stuff like that. But yeah, YouTube changed my life in the way of, hey, how do I do this? And then you look it up, and then you can actually see it. There was one
Sorry.
Yeah. So there was one. I was having I had to change out the brake part. I'll never forget. And the guy's like, okay, when you get to this part, make sure you hold it like this and undo it, because otherwise you're going to lose this piece at the back. And if you lose that, it's going to be a pain in the ass. And sure enough, I held it and got it off and didn't have to lose that piece because I watched the video first, and it was really handy.
God bless the people that make those videos too.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Like, I would not do that because I don't think I know enough, or I'm too self-conscious, or I just won't take the time. But like, the people that sit there and show you how to drop a glove box in your 2001, Hyundai Accent, or how to fix a garden hose, or how to like these are all things I've actually searched for. How to harvest fennel seeds, like the dumb shit I've looked up, but there's a video for it.
Yep. So
once again, you have like a tool that I didn't even think about, but you're absolutely right. Both of those have changed my life, because echoing everything you said, I can't tell you how many times if I've gotten to the point where if I'm looking up how to do something, I look at YouTube first and then I go to Google, because if there's not a video, then I'll see if there's a step-by-step or something like that. But as long as they are communicating okay, it's not bad. Sometimes you get them though, and it's like the video is like all over the place, and you're just like, what are you doing?
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
Did you know that YouTube is the second most popular search engine next to Google, which they're owned by Google, so basically they have the monopoly. Well, you already knew that, but like, that's why it's important on YouTube.
I wouldn't doubt it. I can't tell you how many times I've done, and even the tools that I have listed here, like whenever I need to figure out how to do something with them, it's like, all right, well, go to YouTube first and hopefully find out what it is I need to do with them. So, Sean, do you have a tool that you'd like to share?
Visio, the program Visio.
Oh, okay.
I use it so often because it's kind of a MacGyver of a whole bunch of different programs. Like, it's not quite AutoCAD or something like that, but I've used it designing like decks and sheds to mapping out entire houses. So I would map out a house entire electrical system and put it in a picture form and laminate it and put it up by the breaker panel. And I've done that multiple times. Networking, doing all the networking in the house. I can trace all my lines, all that. It was some program that some guy in university gave me in our computer group. It was like, here, just Visio. I use it for project management, and I've used it ever since. So it's been like 20 years. And pretty well the same copy of Visio too. But hey, broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've used it for so long, and yeah, it's just a simple little program.
I'm looking it up now. Yeah, I may have to check into this.
They've updated over the years and all that. Actually, I think Microsoft probably owns it now. I know they use it at our work. You can download it into our profiles, which I use it at work too. Like even dropping in, I'll take a picture of something, and instead of like an art program, I'll drop a picture of like a component in, and then I can alter it. Like I'll draw lines into it or what changes I need made to it, and then just update the system. It's so versatile. It's so easy to use. So, but yeah,
I have to check into
that's
that.
the big one for me.
The first one on my list, and you can probably guess what it is 3D printers. I
thought you were gonna say Microsoft Excel.
You know what? There was a time in my life, maybe. I lusted after a 3D printer when I first saw them because I was like, you know, man, I could do some really cool things with this, because at this time I already started like following some YouTubers that were talking about 3D printing and stuff. And when I got it, when I got my first 3D printer, it was a Christmas gift between my mom, my dad, and my wife. And I literally teared up because I'm like, you have no idea how much this is going to change my life. And sure enough, like, not just the fact that I you know, it's my side business. You know, I 3D print stuff and sell it on Etsy. Well, like I talked about at the beginning of the show, like there's so many things, so many different uses I have found for 3D printing. I mean, prop making, of course, is a big thing, but like I've made tools, I've repaired things. Like my wife's vehicle has 3D, you know, pieces, 3D printed pieces in it that basically saved me like $300 in buying a replacement part for her air conditioner. And I'm like, it took me maybe 30 minutes to design, and it took maybe 30 minutes to print, and maybe a dime's worth of plastic. And it's just like, and I saved myself, you know, a ton of money. But yeah, like, I mean, I look around my office, there's a ton of stuff that I've designed. And there's a ton of more stuff that I still want to design. You know, occasionally I run into a situation where I'm like, well, I could really use a replacement for this, or that's just not well designed. I think I could do a better job at it. But yeah, like I said, they have completely and totally changed my life. There are some other things I would like to do. It's just like, I don't know if I could quite get to that level. Like I was talking to my brother, I'd really like to be able to have a 3D printer big enough so I could print an entire helmet. But those printers are still a little bit on the hefty side price-wise. But I'm actually looking at buying a 3D printer that does resin. So it would be very small things, but they would be super detailed. And I could do some really cool stuff board gaming-wise. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, it's, you know, they've become so much a part of my life. I don't even know how I would go about my life now if I didn't have my 3D printers to be able to fix and make and everything else. Hey, lady, are you joining us, or you just stopped by?
Have me.
Absolutely, we will have you. We will always have you. Well, with that said, do you have a tool you would like to share with us?
So
He's right there.
That's what she said.
Aw, sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
My hobbies usually don't require a lot of tools. Like my biggest hobby right now is reading. So I guess the books we already bought. What?
Okay, can I throw one out there for you?
Sure. Do you have a hobby that I have a hobby I don't know about?
That changed?
Yeah.
She went from knitting to crocheting.
Yes.
And crocheting was so much faster.
Oh yes. Everybody who crochets knows.
One hook versus two.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That changed the way you did that.
Yes, because then I could make things that I couldn't make knitting because I didn't have the skills, and also didn't want to learn the skills.
I was going to say it was the time.
I didn't want to learn it, so it's just crocheting. like teaching myself how to crochet. Yeah, I don't like baking pans. Like I get excited when I get like a new cookie sheet or something. Oh, the one that really changed it was when we got my KitchenAid mixer, because
Okay, that is a freaking game changer. Let me tell
that's
you.
awesome. First of all, that was a push present.
Yeah, I have one of
Yep.
those.
We're going one at a time.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the KitchenAid mixer. Sorry.
But I can totally back you up on that, because like we went forever without having one, and even now it's like, well, the thing's heavy. I have to kind of pull it out and get it set up. But it's just like once you get it going, though, it's just like, how did I ever make stuff without this? Because otherwise you're just sitting there with a hand mixer and you just turn the thing on and you can go do other stuff and come back and throw stuff in it and turn around and go do other stuff. And it's just like,
and all the different attachments you can buy for it. And the fact that I've had it for 12 years now, and the thing is a machine. Like it's,
they're
it all the time. And Logan uses it now too. And they're pretty though. So you can leave them out on your counter and they're almost like art.
Especially if you like match it to the rest of the kitchen, and
that's why I have a red one.
You got a gray one.
I have a gray one, and the house that we were at tonight, she's got like this mustardy yellow orangey one she's got out on her counter. It's really nice. It's like retro.
Mine is the color of everything in my kitchen, that teal kind of. But it lives on my counter. It doesn't get put up because I have nowhere to put it. So.
Mm-hmm.
I like your kettles in the background there.
Thanks. Yeah. I like tea. Spot of tea.
All right, Jen, what's another tool you'd like to share with us?
I'm gonna say Canva, which is a graphic design software, like web-based. It's free, and I have learned how to use InDesign and Photoshop, very like basic versions of, like I can't design something from scratch, but I can edit documents and I can do basic things with Photoshop. But if I'm in a hurry and I don't want to mess with that and I want something that's like pre-sized and, has some options to pick from, Canva's amazing. That's what I use for like all my graphics for the show and for Sustainably Geeky and a lot of personal stuff I do. So Canva, I'm sure folks know about it, but it has made me step up my game in a lot of different things. So highly suggest if you're looking for that kind of thing.
My wife used that all the time too for all her music stuff.
It's
all
great.
Her advertising and stuff. She just absolutely loves it.
Canva?
Yeah, Canva, like Canvas without the S.
Canva. So I had it right the first time. Okay.
Yeah, but you can pay for the pro version, of course, and then you get, extra features, and it's probably worth it. I just used the free one, but yeah, that's one of mine.
Okay.
If you don't have access to the expensive programs or you don't want to learn them, because they are not intuitive.
No, they are not.
No.
Actually, you probably use this program like I use. What is it called on the Mac? Not PowerPoint. The presentation software. Like I literally will design everything in it, and people are like, why didn't you do that in Photoshop? I'm like, because using Photoshop's like trying to kill like ants with the nuclear bomb. Like I just need to edit this and crop it down a little bit. That's all I need to do. So
I use Snapseed for that on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Canva. Yeah, I'll have to check into that. That's a good one. Like, man, I'm already picking up some good stuff. So this is a good show. I'm enjoying it. Sean, what's another tool you want to share with us?
The one that's helped me out the most in the last few months has been alcohol.
Makes you real creative, huh?
Now, there is a fine
Especially
line.
when you
I
look at the
find
news.
beer gives me the nice creative buzz that I need. Red wine, I got to write it really fast, otherwise it becomes ineligible. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm trying to say.
He's using some of it right now.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Right, yeah. It's...
I hate to admit it, but every now and then having that buzz on really does get me thinking a little easier. I have to double check all my measurements and stuff like that if I'm designing or if I'm like coming up with a story or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah, but there is a cutoff point. Like it's like I'm creative. Who am I?
Yeah.
So yeah, you gotta kind of watch that. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I have to be that guy.
This was a fantastic design for ants. Like it's
Yeah.
definitely not going to fit a human person.
What is this? Design for ants?
So, Ray, what's another tool you'd like to share with us?
So this was one that I was always worried about using as an artist. I still hate calling myself that, but anyway, as somebody that creates things,
Which is an artist.
I know. Anyway,
Hey, you read the book. Anything you make is
yeah,
creative.
I know. So when I draw certain things, there's times where I want to transfer it from one paper to another, and I've tried to do different ways. And you hear about people saying, "Oh, using transfer paper is cheating," but if it's your own art and all that stuff. But anyway, transfer paper, I absolutely love it. I've got to go on white, and I've got a white one that goes on black paper.
Oh, I didn't know that existed.
Yes, it does. So I absolutely love this stuff
You have
because
this downtown?
no, I've had that for years.
Oh, totally didn't notice. That's awesome.
So yeah,
It's a good episode for her too.
We're all learning.
Hell yeah.
The more
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know.
Absolutely love it. It's almost a necessity if you want to get your designs onto something else and then paint that, or you come up with a sketch, but you like this sketch and this part of the sketch and this part of the sketch, you want it all together. You can do a transfer of those in the order that you want, and then do a full drawing of that, or painting or whatever. So, yep, transfer papers, love them.
Nice. Where do you normally get it from? Like just the art shop or?
Yep, an art store.
Okay.
So there's a local, you can find it in any local art store. They'll have transfer paper. And yeah, it just depends on whether you want to. They'll have different colors as well. I just grab a gray one and a white one, and it transfers to whatever color you want. So
Yeah, and you can use them over and over again too.
yeah, that's a great thing. Like, I'll cut up a sheet and use it for multiple different things, right? Like it's been used multiple times for different things, and you can see where the drawing has been, but you go
Is
over
it
it.
like carbon paper?
Yeah.
Basically
Okay.
what it is.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So it's
Back in the day.
fantastic.
Back
Very
in the day
cool.
when we had carbon copies, and
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Very nice. I'll jump in here real quick with my second one. Fusion 360. This is actually the program that I've gotten pretty good at, but I still want to learn more. I still think there are things that that I could do better at. I could probably be more streamlined with, for designing and stuff. But let me tell you, whenever I first picked it up, I knew I was going to want to make my own things, 3D print wise. And so it was like, okay, well, here's some different programs out there. This one will do this. This one's better for this, but not so much. And this is like the top of the line. Like they literally use this to design like airplane motors and shit. And it's like there is a bit of a learning curve, but once you get it, like once you start getting your mind wrapped around it, it's not good for like modeling organic things. Like if I wanted to model like Baby Yoda or something like that, it's not good for that. But for designing things that just absolutely have to be precision fit, this is the way to go. And that's mainly what I was looking at doing. So going back to some of our earlier calls, looked on YouTube, was like, nope, this is the way you should do it. So I signed up and I got the program. And let me tell you, the first time I 3D printed something, it was really cool because I'm like, oh my God, it literally turned like filament. It turned like, a spool of extruded plastic into a physical object. And that's cool. But it was nowhere near as cool as the first time I thought of something I needed or wanted, and I designed it and I made it. And it was like, I literally turned a thought I had into a physical object that I can mass produce if I wanted to. And I was just like, this is wizardry. Like, I'm a fucking wizard. Like, it's awesome.
I'm a motherfucking wizard.
Hell yeah. And like, it's just, I'm looking around and there's things that, I've designed, and, part of me is like, I go back at some of it and I'm like, I could have done better about that. I could have, and I'm still learning it. I'm still growing with it, but there's so many fun, awesome things I've done with it. Like I said, going back to the parts that I made for my wife. Hell, I just thought of another tool I actually should have recommended. I may throw that in as a bonus. There's just all these things that I've made.
When we drove down to your place, we had a bracket that broke on our holder for the kids.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Tablets, and part of it broke, and you were able to create something. It glowed in the dark, which was kind of cool too. But but yeah, it was extremely handy. And,
it was very helpful for the trip back. Yeah.
So yeah, I just, like I said, it's the ability to design things in this program and bring them to life has just been awesome and fantastic. And like I said, I'm still learning it. When I was talking about, the thing I got sidetracked on, like I designed all of these little buttons and stuff that I've been doing in 3D printing in that program. And I've gotten to the point it's like, okay, well, it's gotten much easier. For example, so like the Autobot logo, actually all of the logos, I learned what an STL file is. And it's like, okay, instead of trying to go in there and retrace and draw it, I can actually dump the STL file in there and grab it and extrude it. And I'm like, hey, I don't have to start from scratch on this. I can just literally go grab STL files and start putting logos and shit on stuff. And it saved me so much time. So Fusion 360, if you have any interest in designing three-dimensional objects, especially if they need to be precision, you can get a free account. Like literally, you can sign up if you are an educator or you are in education, you can sign up for a free account. If you are a maker, you can sign up for a free account. It is pretty hefty if you're going to use it like as a big business type thing, but then you should be able to have the revenue, of course, to support it. But for makers and, to teach yourself, it's absolutely free. And I mean, it is a fantastic program. Yeah, there's a learning curve, but once you start to figure it out, it really becomes, this really awesome tool, this almost exponentially awesome tool that you can just do cool things with. So, Chris, do you have another tool you'd like to share with us?
Yes. So reading is one of my hobbies, and Audible has like totally changed the game for me.
Jen used that one too.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine because I totally was
That's a good
like,
one.
I didn't even think of it as being a tool, and
Yeah.
it is. It is
Great
an awesome
minds,
tool.
Chris.
There you go, buddy. Because I have gone through since we started, because it was when we were driving down actually to see you guys.
That's when we started.
That's when we started,
Yep.
and so that was 3 years ago. And the amount of books I've read and reread since then, I never would have done it if it was just sitting by my bedstand and I was reading like a half hour before bedtime. Like, driving is so much better now. You just
Yes.
pop in Audible and just go through, like, and you've gone through, especially with your commute now.
Right now, I am burning through books.
But it's so great because it's such a great way to just enrich your life. So I love Audible. We would like sing its praises all the time. We just put our niece on our account. She just went off to university, so we just put her on it. It's like, just go nuts.
Side note, I'm actually mostly done Captain Share, so
There you go. And he wants to tell me things that are very spoilery, and I won't let him because I'm only on half share.
Gotcha.
Oh, way back.
Yeah. Yes, way back. Quinny's on he's still on quarter share.
Okay.
But anyways, Audible, I love it, and it's worth the price. It's worth the monthly. Like, if you love reading and you want to just venture out, or you just
increase
like,
the amount of time that you can spend listening to books. Yeah.
or find that you can't listen, because I have a friend, she loves to read, but it puts her to sleep immediately. Like literally 5 minutes later, then she's down and she can't get through a book. So for something like that, Audible would be great because you just pop it in and listen to your book. And some narrators are fantastic, like Jim Dale and Ray Porter and Luke Daniels.
Another fantastic one, yeah.
Really, really great narrators.
Yes, totally, absolutely, positively agree.
Yes.
Jen, you have another one, or do you want to just You got a couple more you'd like to share? Or?
Well, Chris got me thinking about the kitchen, and I was just gonna say the Instant Pot
Okay.
because I'm not much of a cook, and that helps me cook things that are more creative, a little more outside my zone, and or just things that I wouldn't normally have time to cook.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my other one.
That's another tool that we haven't picked up yet. We've just recently, this last year, actually I think since Christmas, got an air fryer.
Oh, yes.
That's fantastic for cooking as well. But yes, I've heard many people sing the praises of an Instant Pot. So
yeah.
So yeah, you were talking about it with Leanie's aunt this last weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't realize you had to wait for it to get to pressure or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, because everyone talks about they're just like, oh, it was like 5 minutes in the Instant Pot, and it's like, well, you gotta wait. It's not just 5 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't account for that when I was making macaroni at work for a potluck once, and I was like, I'm gonna be late, and I planned this potluck. So I learned that lesson.
Gotcha.
Thought it was broken. Yeah.
Sean, you have any other tools you'd like to share with us?
One of the best tools is a silent room with no distractions and a pencil and paper.
How does that happen? Very often, silent room in your house.
You know what? It's not that bad. My kids tend to go to their own rooms now and like do their own thing. They'll be like playing Minecraft or whatever. And my kids are old enough that they're not like constantly needing to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a game changer in itself.
Yeah, that's a huge thing in itself.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I've been like telling them, okay, guys, leave the doors open to your rooms because it's really starting to stink in your rooms. Just get some airflow in there. Now you can hear them. They'll play Minecraft or something like that all together. Like they'll network it with themselves and their friends across town. And you can hear them yelling at each other through their rooms and stuff like that. It's great to listen to. I love it. But
nice.
It's for me, I need it to be quiet. I need to focus on something. I can't even have music going or
really
anything like that. Especially with designing. If I'm building something, once I have the plans, then I'll throw an audio book in and like I'll build out in the carriage house and all that. That's fine. But when I'm planning it, silence is golden. So if I can get a nice quiet room and pencil and paper, because I make a lot of changes. So pen, never. I like the tactile feel of a pencil.
Are you a pencil or a mechanical pencil?
Pencil, because I've got one of the old school pencil sharpeners.
Yeah, like
house. Yes.
Really? It came with the house?
Came with the house. I relocated it. It's probably as old as I am, but it works so good. So like, if I really need to relax, I'll like steal all the pencils in the house and just go out to my carriage house and start sharpening. And then you like look at it and it's like
so satisfying.
Like, I could cut an atom with this. It's so sharp.
As long as it's a good pencil, because there's nothing worse than you get one that the lead is just slightly off, and you always like there's that higher sliver of wood, and you're just like, what is wrong?
Yeah.
Or
and then it breaks off, or it never, because you can never get it quite sharp enough. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's I tend to like, I don't draw very much, and usually it's just kind of sketching stuff out, and so I've become more of a mechanical pencil person just because I'm like, I can get, it's always exact, but there is something about having especially a good pencil and it being really well sharpened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's my last one.
Gotcha. Ray.
So I'll throw a couple then.
Okay.
If we're on the last round, essentially.
Sure. Yep.
All right. So,
While
we're talking about pencils, for woodworking, instead of using a pencil or anything like that, a marking knife is that much more precise. It's crazy. If you need to do exact measurements on wood, then make sure that you use a marking knife. Or if you have an X-Acto knife or something like that, because then you can hold it right to that point on the tape measure, and you know exactly where you pressed it, and it will be even more precise. It's crazy. It was a tip that I saw from one of the YouTube channels that I was following. So I have this is a cold press ground. It's a paste. It looks like drywall paste, but it's paper fibers inside of it. And so when you spread this on any surface, it then becomes watercolor paper. And so you can actually put watercolor paintings on
you did that to my
anything.
phone.
I did it to Chris's phone.
You did it to my phone.
That's cool.
Sealed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually a pretty cool little thing. I thought it was a lot of fun. So yeah, if you like playing with watercolor paper and stuff, but you find you want to do it on a rock or whatever, that's a way to do it. The other one that I'm really trying to master, because I love the paintings that some people do with it, is the putty knife, but specifically for, I don't know if you're able to, specifically for oil paints.
Okay.
There's some artists out there that's all they use is just a putty knife, and they're able to create these beautiful pieces of art. So I'm going to give myself a challenge at some point and do an entire painting with just a knife. See what I can come up with. So,
Yeah, old Bob Ross used to use those quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and especially for mountains and stuff like that. But now I've seen, and I've tried it, and it friggin' works. Like
yeah.
it does.
But so now I want to take it to the next step and do an entire painting with it, which would be a lot of fun. The other one that I wanted to talk about that I've used a lot is Google Maps, because it's a game changer as well. But the one that I like better, and it's only in London, UK, is City Mapper. Because if you want to go to a certain place, it tells you how long it's going to take you, how far to walk, how far you got to travel, how much it's going to cost you, and it's all within like a simple search. And I wish more cities would use this.
Oh yeah, it was so accurate. It was, okay, if you take the buses, this is how much it's going to cost you. These are the changes you're going to have to make.
This is where you get off. This is where you get on. This is
how far is the bus stop you're going to have to get onto next, which side of the road it's on, and then it does the same thing if you're going to take the tube, which stops you, like, and how much it's going to cost you there.
Yeah.
How far to walk. Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about game changer? If you go to London, UK, you have to use that map.
Yes.
That
Don't
app.
Don't rent a car.
No, just use that app, and it will get
somebody.
you anywhere you want.
Yeah. Don't rent a car.
Nice.
So,
I would never try to drive over there anyways.
Lots of people do. We ran into
I'd
so
love
many.
to.
No. We went.
I would. She
I'd
would.
crash. I'd crash.
We talked to so many tourists that were renting cars and driving places. We're like, they have an amazing transit system. Why would you do
Yeah,
that?
that's my thing. Those countries that have a mass transit, use it, because we don't have it here.
The only reason I would see would be like, I have to drive on the left side at least once. Look what I'm doing. That would be it.
I didn't do it in Australia. I didn't even try.
No.
Mostly because it was my aunt's car and she has 2 kids and I didn't want to put them in danger. But yeah, I had no desire to try and she didn't offer. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. Have a brain fart, be back on the right hand side.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's counterintuitive. Because even on the sidewalks, when you're crossing the crosswalk, they even have look this way.
Yeah, it says look right or
because they have so many tourists that look the opposite way and wind up getting smucked by stuff because they're not paying attention because it's the opposite side, right? So it took a while to get used to.
And then when we got back, it took a while to get back the other way.
Yeah, my friend who lived in Ireland for a bit got in an accident once turning either left or right. I don't remember. And the police were like, yeah, you're American, huh?
Yeah.
They're used to Americans, getting in accidents over there because they don't look the right way.
Well, turning left, you're turning as close. It's like turning right here, right? And
yeah.
It's so backwards. It's all backwards. So we figured the people who know how to drive here should just keep doing that.
Especially in the city. So.
Yes, especially in the city.
If you are planning a reno on your house, I suggest using IKEA because they have a little planner where you can map out how big your room is, and then they have furniture size things that where you just plunk it in. That's how I planned our kitchen.
Yeah.
They have dedicated sizes for different fridges and stoves, and you can just say, here's what it looks like, and then you can move it around and see what you like. And then they've got a whole 3D rendering of it, so you can take a walkthrough of it. And so that was actually a pretty good one too.
Mm-hmm.
Is it an app or just their website?
It's their website.
Okay.
So yeah, it was actually a pretty cool little.
It was pretty user friendly.
Yeah, fairly. And then if I could do a bonus too.
Sure, why not?
These are ones that I'm looking into. These are ones that I'm
Got
excited.
a lot of hobbies apparently.
I do. It sucks because I don't have enough time for everything. There are two that I'm really seriously looking into. Chris has been doing Coursera.
Yeah.
For a history class, and so the deal is that I'm going to take a course of something. One that I'm looking into is the Guitar Super System from Music is Win. So Music is Win is a YouTube channel. He talks about all sorts of different things, but he also has this guitar system, super systems for people to learn guitar from the very, like, if you've never picked one up, to if you're already amazing at it. He gets into theory and stuff like that as well. So I think it's like $5 a month or something like that, and then you can cancel. So yeah, it's reasonable.
Totally affordable. That's awesome.
So that's one that I'm looking into. The other one that I'm looking into is Masterclass. I've seen a lot of trailers for them, YouTube commercials for them. I've looked up the trailers for them because some of them look like a lot of fun. So I know it's $20 a month. I think $20 a month American. So a little bit on the higher, and you have to pay for the entire year, which is the other thing as well. So something I'm going to look into. I want to do a little bit more digging about it. But there's something about learning about certain things that people love. The one that really hooked me was Zimmerman. Zimmerman does Hans Zimmerman does one about creating music, and yeah, he hit me with, if somebody tells you that you can't do it and like there's a rule, fuck them. Like it's so that kind of took me right there. I was like, that is actually pretty cool. So.
Yeah, see, I'm really good at signing up for the MOOCs, the online, what are they, massive online, courses.
Yeah.
But I'm also really good at never, like, even logging in once or twice, because I just don't do good with online. Like, I fucking suck at online classes. If I don't have to physically go somewhere and be accountable or be there at a certain time, I won't do it. So I admire people that can take those classes.
I'm learning how to, because I want to go back to school, but I don't know what I want to take. So instead of spending like
trying stuff out,
thousands of dollars on something that turns out that I hate, because I'm not doing this to get a job at the end. I have a unique opportunity where I have a lot of time on my hands, and having a job isn't number one priority. I want to, higher learning, educate myself. So this is a cheaper way, much cheaper way to figure out if I even want to, even if I can do online schooling.
You said Coursera?
Yeah.
There's also one called Future Learn.
Okay.
I don't know if you've looked at that one.
No,
I get their emails.
Yeah. So and they have different things. Like right now I'm doing a specialization in a history cosmology class. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. I really, really like it.
Yeah, the master class, they are definitely a little higher end price wise, but Franklin from Franklin's Barbecue does one on barbecuing, and I was like, oh man, that would be awesome. And then Steve Martin has one on comedy, and I'm just like,
yep, he does.
Oh my god, that would be fantastic. So yeah, I have definitely seen those and been like, man, those might be interesting.
Yeah.
There's some good instructors.
The two that I wanted to point out, and this is the one that I can't believe I almost forgot about, is going along with the 3D printing and the 3D designing. You got to be accurate. You got to be extremely accurate depending on what you're using. And so this is a digital caliper. It was all of about $20 on Amazon. So, I mean, they're super cheap. But yeah, I can get down to hundredths of a millimeter with this thing. And it's like, for most things, I don't have to be that exact. But if I'm trying to replicate a part, like the parts that went in my wife's car, I literally took this and took multiple measurements and then just designed it. And first try, whenever it printed out, I mean, there was a little variation just because of the way that the filament comes out. But I was like, I replicated this thing, which was awesome. So yeah, if you needed to do any kind of exact dimension stuff, like, I mean, you can get normal calipers, but I mean, it's digital. It was $20. It's not like I spent $100 on this thing, and it's I'm also not using it for business, so it's not like, I'm sure if I were going to be doing like actual design work, like designing things for like production or whatever, I would probably buy $150, $200 version of this thing that would be like down to even, closer measurements. But for just the run of the mill, just 3D printing stuff, this thing has been fantastic. Because I used to have to try to guess, like I'd be sitting there with a ruler and I'm like, okay, that looks like that's 2 millimeters. I guess it is. And now I'm just like, oh, that's 1.75. So it's freaking fantastic. The other thing that was a total game changer for me, and I got this for Christmas from my in-laws. I do a lot of building and electronics, and if you do not have a good pair of wire strippers, oh my God, this is such a game changer. Like I mean, I have that older style one that's, you kind of clip it down and you have to kind of yank it off, but if you don't grab it just right, it will pull. It's ridiculous. And this thing, 99% of the time, you just put the wire in and go, and now you've got it. It's the right length every single time. I'm like, how did I go this long without this freaking tool? This is a fantastic tool. Once again, like $20, like not even that expensive. So yeah, I absolutely love these things. The last thing I want to mention, and it's something kind of going back what y'all were saying, but also what I mentioned before, I'm looking to start doing, trying to learn how to design these PCB boards. And the program I'm using is free. It's from Autodesk. It's called Eagle. And I tried kind of learning it through some of the tutorials they had, but it just wasn't sinking in. And I'm sure, searching on my phone, Facebook was like, oh, hey, this is what he's searching for. Let's get an advertisement for it. So sure enough, a website called Udemy, Udemy, sells classes on how to do things. And sure enough, they had a class on Eagle, normally like $90 to $100, on sale for $10. And I was like, that is a no-brainer. Done. Of course, I'm excited to take the course and to learn this thing. And I tell people about it, and they're like, yeah, that doesn't sound interesting at all. But I'm like, I'm excited. So yeah. It's funny. I listened to several different podcasts, and this one particular podcast, now granted, some of them have some more jaded views of college for different reasons. But they're all and they're also entrepreneurs, but they're also very much of the mindset. Like, they're like, if you have to go to college to get a degree to do something, you have to do it. That's what it is. But if you just want to learn something, there's so many other ways to learn stuff online, and people even offer entire courses on YouTube for free. They may not be the same quality, but you're still going to learn, and that's all that matters, is that you're getting the knowledge that you want to get. So, yeah, I think it's awesome that you're looking. You want to get some, you want to increase your knowledge and further your education, and you're not just like, well, let me go back to college. No, find out what the fuck you want to do, so you start dropping a bunch of money on it. So
it's not, and I don't want to go to, like, I have no interest in going back into the university college experience. I did that was a very long time ago, but I'm like, I still want to learn stuff. But all the online universities, the cheapest I could find, each course was like $700, $1,000, and I'm just like, I don't even know if I friggin' like this.
And that's the hard part.
What if I hate it? And then I have to, I just blew $1,000 because, it doesn't seem interesting to me. So if I wanted to learn like Russian philosophy, I don't have to worry about getting a job after that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, are there any other tools you want to share, Chris?
So the Coursera, which is great. And I signed up for it years ago. Like, we were still living in Port Elgin, and I never did much with it because, again, I just didn't know time, or I just couldn't get into that groove. So, and then a couple years ago, I took like one photography class, but then I couldn't. It got to the part where you had to do aperture versus something and math was involved, and I was like, never mind, I don't understand. So I didn't actually finish that. I was like, no, peace out. This one I love. It's called Journey of the Universe, and it's so good. I'm actually going to recommend the book that comes with it because it's on Audible, and it's less than 3 hours, but it is so good. And so when we read astrophysics for the
People on the Run.
People on
the Run,
Yeah.
Yep. Neil deGrasse Tyson, love him. He's a special little piece of human. I didn't understand a freaking thing in that book. Nothing. Absolutely, it flew over my head. But with this,
we were listening to it on the way down to see you guys in Texas, and she turned to me. She's like, "Do you still understand some of this stuff?" She's like, yeah, I'm following along. You know, she's like, I gotta stop listening. Okay.
I couldn't because it just became words and none of them made sense. He was speaking English, but I didn't know why or how.
Gotcha.
But this breaks it down in a more cosmology way where it uses humanities, so religion and ecology and things like that. So it interprets it in a way with somebody who doesn't have a science brain to at least get what they're talking about. So I understand more of the Big Bang and how it came to be and the timeline and all that stuff. I get it a little bit more because it uses more of a creative approach instead of a scientific approach.
Okay.
So it's really great. There's also a 1-hour documentary that I will also be recommending. And then in the kitchen, so the air fryer, my mother-in-law gave me an air fryer because she got a bigger one and didn't need this one.
She got a smaller one, gave us a bigger one.
Yeah. It's amazing. So I've reheated French fries, like any leftovers that were fried before. I just
but you've also done fried cauliflower.
I've done breaded cauliflower.
So it's like chicken wings, but with cauliflower.
Good.
Actually, really turned out
really good.
Nice.
And I've done Brussels sprouts, which I'm the only one who eats, so I only get a little bit. Love it. They're really good. Sweet potatoes, again, I was the only one who liked them because apparently potatoes can't be sweet. And and what else? But I love it, and it's so easy to use. I mean, I had to look up how to use it because she didn't give me the booklet, but super easy to use and clean out and everything. But you can't stack things, and I made a batch of cauliflowers. I'm like, oh, I don't want to wait a half an hour and
put the whole thing in.
I put the whole thing in, and it was terrible.
You just have to buy the little trays that go in there, and I've done that, but you're right. You can't just throw it in there.
No, you can't, especially with something that's battered like that. And then the last one is silicone baking sheets. So instead of using parchment paper or spray your thing down with cooking spray or whatever, silicone mats or silpats are fantastic. They can withstand, 500 Fahrenheit degree temperatures. We've put them in the barbecue on a cookie sheet with potatoes and stuff like that. They're great, easy cleanup, and they're cheap. You can get them at the dollar store.
And when the cat chews on them because she thinks they taste like food, you're not so worried that a little bit has gone to her stomach.
And I went through 3. And the ones I still use still have her bite marks in them. They're still together. But they're super cheap. Really easy to use. You can't stick them in the dishwasher, but they're really easy to wipe down.
So I have a couple of those, and I have used them for like savory stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like vegetables with olive oil, but then the smell and the flavor kind of stays in it. Have you had that issue? Because even when I wash it by hand, it's like when I want to cook cookies,
We've
it's
used
gonna.
No, we've used it for we've used it for cookies.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I can't get them clean enough for some reason. It just absorbs.
They've stained, and then they get sort of stained because of the heat of the oven too.
But I haven't seen a transfer of flavors.
No,
but it absorbs the smell for me. I'm just like.
Oh, it probably does because we cook primarily with olive oil, but I
haven't seen that though.
No, I haven't noticed it.
That can be your green life hack too for next month. I don't think we've done that one.
Nice.
No, but that's it. Yep.
Good deal. Well, that is our main topic for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to our plans for next time. Ray, what would you like to be working on before next episode?
All right, so that painting that I talked about, we're gonna get that one at least started.
Got
You
it.
put the medium on it though.
I did. I talked about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, the medium's on it. I'm gonna get it going. My plan is this week that I'm gonna get it started. Depends on the weather, because the more it rains, then I have more to do inside, and that's one of the things.
Rain. I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's this stuff. It's like water
Eugene?
falls from the sky.
Do you remember what rain is? We haven't had it in like 2 months.
Vaguely. Yeah. Actually, no, it did
Yeah,
rain
Canadians.
here just the other day, and it made
Yeah.
the pool super cold.
Like
I
2
said by
minutes
cold,
it rained.
by cold, I mean 80 degrees, but it was cold enough that it was just like, oh my God, we're freezing. So,
He's like, try Lake Ontario.
Yeah.
so yeah.
80 degrees. That's our hot tub setting.
Well, Logan's laughing at you right now, the whole 80 degrees. She thinks
Yeah.
that's hilarious. She went swimming tonight.
Yeah.
There was only 7 degrees difference between it and like the air temperature, and it just, like I said, normally the pool's at 84, and it's like, this is cool, this is nice, this is fine, but just the 4 degrees difference was like, did we dump ice in here? What the hell's going on? So yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, that's going to be one. And then the other thing that I want to commit to as well is I want to pick a course and at least start it. So whether it's masterclass or the Guitar Super Systems, one or the other, I'm going to pick something and I'm going to start it.
Good deal. I'll jump in here real quick. I'm only going to put one thing on my list, and that is to learn the Eagle program. I paid for it. I'm looking forward to starting the course. I'm really looking forward to, designing some of these little boards and actually getting them back, because the idea that I can not only say that, yes, I designed and 3D printed this thing, but I also designed and made the electronics that went in it is fantastic. So, and the fact that it would save me so much time and so much effort and energy, it's like the return on this is going to be fantastic. I've just got to get to that point. So, Chris, what would you like to work on before next time?
Do you want our update?
What did I say last time?
Do you want our update?
Your update last time was work on Logan's nightstand and curtains.
Okay, so I did Logan's nightstand. It's
Okay,
done.
there you go.
Curtains, no. But I also got all the art hung up in the house, and I have painted the butler's pantry.
Okay.
Painted that, and got new knobs for the cupboards that are in the butler's pantry. So I did that. I guess my next thing would be to paint Logan's dresser and get new knobs for that. And
go to IKEA on Sunday.
that's you. That's not me. I'm not doing that. The sunroom really needs curtains, so that needs to get done.
That needs to get done.
to happen.
Yeah.
Like I can't. It needs to get. Yeah,
That means I'm putting a curtain rod up, doesn't it?
probably. But I have a month, so you can just settle down.
There you go. Jen, what are you working on for next time?
Let's hear the oboe.
Yeah, right. Nobody wants to hear that. This isn't really a creative thing, but I need to get back into an exercise routine.
That's creative.
I guess. Yeah. I was keeping up with yoga after the quarantine started, and then they opened and didn't keep up their virtual classes. So I need to get a schedule, because I'm not accountable if I just come home and say I'm going to take a class again, just like, other online classes. So yeah, maybe starting to exercise regularly again.
Gotcha. Sean,
I'm just hoping
work on getting better. What?
Yeah.
I'm just hoping to be functional next month. So
Yeah, work on that physio.
Yep.
Twice a week. So yeah, we'll go from there. Otherwise, maybe put an ass divot in a different furniture in the house. I don't know.
Sounds like a plan to me. Well, that is our show for the month, ladies and gentlemen. If you would please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Music, wherever it is you listen to the show. You can find us at epicallygeeky.com, where you can find all the shows that we do, including the Epically Geeky Show, the Marginally Geeky Show, Procrastinators, and Sustainably Geeky. You can also find us on all the social media at Epically Geeky. Where can we find you online, Ray?
You can search for The Reluctant Yeti on Instagram and find me there. That's pretty much it for now.
Good deal. Chris, where can we find you online?
On all the shows that you have mentioned, except for Procrastinators, because I have no interest in playing old video games.
Sometimes you can't even find
There
procrastinators
you
on
go. I was gonna say,
procrastinators.
you guys don't
Yeah.
have much interest in it. And then on Instagram at the Burrow Life, but I'm thinking about changing the name, so I'll take some suggestions.
Okay.
You have
Jen, where can we find you online?
You can find me here on Marginally Geeky, Epically Geeky, and of course, Sustainably Geeky. We just dropped our newest episode yesterday about dark skies, so check that out if you're interested. And on all the social medias at Het's Gonna Be Me.
Sean, can we find you online anywhere?
Well, apparently now that I got a new phone that I'm supposed to be on like every friggin'
He's
platform.
on Instagram.
He is on
That's public.
Instagram.
Yeah, so I locked it. The first person that signed me up for Instagram, my first follower, was a pizza place in Toronto.
Nice.
So
Nice.
after I got like 30 followers of people I didn't know, I decided to make it private.
Mm.
Oh well. I got a lot of pictures of my kids in there. So
Good
Yeah.
deal.
anyway, yeah. I'm around. I'm on the geeky shows.
I'm
Good
honored
deal.
I got a follow.
Are you following me? Am I following you? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we'll have to check. And as always, you can follow my individual wacky adventure online at Optimus Gene on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For everyone on the site, have a good night.